Sony, Shuhei Yoshida, thanking Meta. If you know what Meta is, MetaQuest 2, Metaverse is their saying. But this is by Mixed, by Tomislav Bezmanovic. And it's titled PSVR 2, Sony Shuhei Yoshida thanks Meta. This should be pretty interesting. MetaQuest 2 has brought the VR industry out of its slump. Sony's Shuhei Yoshida thanks Meta for a great job. Shue Yoshida was head of Sony's global game studios for 10 years and was instrumental in the development of PlayStation VR. Since the end of 2019, he has been supporting Sony's indie studios on behalf of the company. Yoshida was a guest at the GI Live 2022 gaming conference these days and was invited to speak there, where he also talked about PlayStation VR 2. Yoshida expresses excitement about Sony's upcoming VR headset, calling it truly a next-gen experience. Meta is doing a great job, according to Yoshida. According to Yoshida, the VR market is still small and growing. In 2016, there would have been a lot of hype around virtual reality when Sony and Oculus launched their first VR headsets. After that, the industry experienced a difficult time as investors lost interest and turned to other things. A big VR fan, Yoshida acknowledges Meta's involvement. Thanks to Meta, they are doing a great job of promoting the Quest so more people are coming in to try VR for the first time, Yoshida said. Still, virtual reality is a growing market and only a subset compared to the console business, he said. PSVR 2 focus on indies? Yoshida's thanks are justified. Looking back, Meta has almost single-handedly kept the consumer-facing side of the industry alive by creating a profitable ecosystem for developers over the past 2 or 3 years. The VR studios that have survived could play a critical role on PlayStation VR 2, according to Yoshida. So there are big games like Horizon Call of the Mountain or Resident Evil Village. Yes, they are amazing, but it's the indies, in my mind, who really take a risk because they want to make games on VR. Hopefully that doesn't mean Sony is relying on indies for the most part. The metaverse hype, Yoshida continues, has brought new momentum and investment to the industry. We'll see great VR games from VR publishers who have learned a lot in the meantime and have new resources to implement their plans. The thanks are mutual. It's interesting to ask what Sony's VR strategy would have looked like if MetaQuest 2 hadn't been such a resounding success. Would Sony have dared a second attempt with PlayStation VR 2 or rather refrain from it, since VR studios would have turned away from the medium in the meantime? We will probably never know. In any case, Meta will be relieved that Sony is back on top and also investing in virtual reality. The thanks should be mutual. Below are Shuhei Yoshida's translated statements in full. Here's what he said. You may know that I was heavily involved in the development of the original PlayStation VR, and I had the role of promoting the system when we launched in 2016, so I'm a huge VR fan. Shue Yoshida is a huge VR fan. That's pretty sweet. I don't know if you have tried it, but when you try PSVR 2, it's truly a next-gen experience, which we are super excited about. But the VR market is still small and growing. Thanks to Meta, they are doing a great job of promoting the Quest so more people are coming in to try VR for the first time. But still, compared to console gaming, it's a subset and a growing market. When the industry sees this opportunity in something really, truly exciting from a technical standpoint or the gameplay standpoint, but the market is small, what happens is, it's the indies. They've been waiting to make VR games since the prior VR boom in the 1990s. They've been waiting for this technology like Mr. G. Sen, developer of Resident Evil and Tetris Effect, to become available for them to make games. So big games like Horizon Call of the Mountain or Resident Evil Village, yes, they're amazing, but it's the indies in my mind who really take a risk because they want to make games on VR. There was a big hype around PSVR and Oculus when we launched around the same time back in 2016, but after a couple of years, investors moved on to something different. So there was a very difficult time in 2017, 18, and 19. But there are indie publishers and VR developers who survived this difficult period, and they've been releasing new games in VR, and they've been developing this knowledge and experience on how to use this tech, and they are making better and better games. Now with the metaverse, the investments are returning, and some of them now are getting lots of money invested and becoming publishers to help other developers as well. You will see great VR games coming out from these new, re-energized, enlarged, and reinvested VR publishers. That's the fireside chat. But if you want to listen to that, you can just literally look up mix-news.com or just go to PlayStation VR News. But I thought this article was pretty interesting. Shue Yoshida, he was head of the PSVR. He was in control of the PSVR stuff in John 16. And it's good that he's actually saying and talking about PlayStation VR 2, how it's going to be, or how it is a next-gen experience. I just can't wait to try it myself and play it and stream it for y'all. But what do y'all think about this article? Do you think Meta plays a huge part in this? I think so, because I think Sony's letting, Meta do all the work while, people are investing in Meta and seeing how good the graphics are and whatnot. And then I believe Sony's just going to swoosh in like a predator, like a hawk, thief at night, and just take basically all Meta's consumers. Because they say, yeah, Meta's great, but hey, look at PSVR 2. PSVR 2 is better in this many ways, and haptic feedbacks and eye tracking and all that. So I believe they're letting Meta lay down the groundwork, and they're gonna come in and show the world what PSVR 2 is capable of, and just blow everybody's socks off. So that's what I think. What y'all think? Do you agree? Disagree? Let me know. But until the next video, this is the Finna PSVR signing off. We out.